Mm-hmm. Yeah, I see. You got a smile on your face, but I see what you're doing. I do the same thing time to time. Yeah, I get it. You need to move on. Yep, keep it moving. I see you smile. You look nice on. Yep. Need to move on. Can an unhealthy person deal with I am? Can an unhealthy person deal with me and be in my circle? Let the truth be told, we're all unhealthy. We're all unhealthy. We're all broken. We're all just trying to find a way to, well, wait a minute now. I was just about to say, we're all trying to find a way to make it to the next day and be healthier than our last. That wasn't true. That was the reason why I had to stop it. I'm trying to be healthier than my last day. Do I slip up? Yep. Am I work sometimes devolve into being one of my worst days that I've had? Yes. But I recognize it. I don't want to repeat those days. I want to keep moving on. I recognize that. I know what I need to move on. I also know what triggers I am into being unhealthy I am. I don't want that stuff up off in my circle. You know what? You can just leave it up over there. Let the truth be told, I'm really a loner. As outgoing as I am and as much personality that I exhibit in these videos and when I interact with people, I'm really a loner. I know how to engage with people. I know how to have a light and fluffy conversation, how to be inspiring and encouraging, but I can really, take it or leave it because I'm fine with myself. I think a lot. I like to be left to my own thoughts. I like to creatively think. I like to, before I get ready to say this next statement, even though I don't like challenges and I like things to be easy breezy, I will say this in this regard. I do like to problem solve on challenges that are presented in my life. I do like to problem solve. I do like to find healthier ways of doing things. So for me to do that, I have to be to myself. I have to do a lot of self-reflection. I got to be really open and observant or observe the things that go on around me. And I just can't always do that with people in my space. Now, take that back to the topic of this video. Can an unhealthy person be dealing with I am? That smile on their face. Remember what I said? I recognize it because I feel the same way. There's a lot of times I smile, I don't feel like smiling. So I recognize it when people are doing it. But the smile that I'm talking about from my friend that was earlier in that video, they're really condescending. And see, what you didn't get to hear before that camera cut on, they were being condescending. They were throwing me some curveballs, stuff that wasn't constructive criticism, and it was really set up to tear me down, and they were doing it with a smile on their face, acting like it was in my best interest. I ain't finds that unhealthy. You got something going on that I'm not trying to solve. It's for you if you're even willing to try to solve that. That type of rigmarole can't be in my circle. I don't have time for it. For this next example, let me think of a way to explain this out so I'm not really telling on the situation. We give you a real general idea of this. I'll just say, because I don't even want to be this specific. There's a lot of S's. I don't even really want to get that detail. A person had a changing point in their life. With this change that came in their life came new people. One of the things that I noticed right off the bat with the change that was presented to them, or that the choice that they made, which was healthy, by the way, it was really awesome. It was really something for them to move on, do better. And you know how it is. You know how anytime that you're making a change in your life and you're doing something, on some things that are new, you may be nervous about. You may be nervous about what you're leaving behind and what you're stepping into. One of the last things that you need is when you're trying to do this transition. And this person that I'm talking about, they're a strong person. They're an upbeat person. Really, the furthest thing from them is negativity, being dreary. And when they do, because they're not perfect, and I'm not saying that they're just always up, because nobody's up all the time. Nobody's 100% smiling and all the time. But this is the general nature of this person. But I know, since they're human, I'm human, we're all human, they experience some of the same things that we all experience from time to time. It may be some doubt, it may be other things that just go through your head. So as they were embracing this transition in their life, which, well, like I said, was all for the better, nothing bad about it. And if not anything, they were just exploring another avenue. I could see some of the ones that, were getting in their circle, complainers. They had made the same choice that this person had made, but the difference is they were the opposite of everything I just got done bragging about with this other person. They were pulling out all of the negative. And I want to add this. The things that they were pulling out, I've already seen these situations 100 times over. You won't last. You won't last in your change, and this is what results into a person falling back into the same old, whatever it may be. Whether it's a job, it's a relationship, or it's just something that you're involved with. It's not lasting, and it can be seen, and it's told by the talk that you're doing. So one of the things that I noticed when I was talking to this person, talking about the person that made this positive change, I'm just like, hey, you know what? Watch out with what these other individuals are bringing to you. Because they're bringing to you, I can clearly tell from what they're bringing to you, it's not constructive it's not the mindset that you need to be in. And what was funny was, the person had actually given me feedback. They had stated, I had my own thoughts on just the same things that I just got done saying in this video, which I already knew that. There was no need for me to discuss this up with them because I'm thinking the best with them. They were like, I'm already, thinking about doubt, with this, that, and the other. And I was like, I'm thinking to myself, well, you're rolling on strong with it, but what you don't need are these people that might not last. And one of the things that made it really apparent on what they were doing was they just wanted to complain. When they were trying to engage with this other person that was taking it in stride, you could just tell they really weren't looking for a resolve. They were looking for a train to get on. They were looking for a train to get on. This person, I'm just going to refer to it as the healthy person, or the healthy person, upbeat person in this situation. As they referred them to something that was encouraging, it fell on deaf ears. Person was, oh, okay. And they just kept on, with their thing. Which is fine and good. You can do what you want to do. But the thing is, excuse me. The thing is, the headspace and what you're doing isn't constructive. It isn't healthy. And you need to move on with that. Now, even though I use that metaphor with my friend here, my big red friend here in the video, even though I'm using that metaphor, I'm not saying that you have to literally tell people, get out my space, go on. I'm a visual person, so I use things as visual aids. But in your head, it's like you have to step out like that. That means, and when I'm saying step out of those situations like that, excuse me, you don't necessarily want to give feedback or input into that to keep a person going on when they need to be out of your circle. Or you're not trying to entertain what they're entertaining. I remember on one time with the vocation that I was on, I came into the job, really high hopes, a lot of energy, and some of the individuals that I'd met, even though it was really good for the most part, some of the individuals that I met, I could tell that they picked up on what I was bringing to the table, and some people might say, because I wanted to leave a door open to this, part of this. Some people might say, well, they were just trying to really let you know on how it was. But they really came in hard and strong on, I know you're smiling and you're going about this, with this type of attitude, which was positive and what I was presenting. But this is like this. man, when those stresses get to rolling and da-da-da-da-da-da-da, and they were going on, and by the time I got done talking to them, I actually felt kind of angry. And the way that I combated it was, I'm like, yeah, I understand what you're saying. It's something like I said in the older video when I stated, sometimes people point out the painfully obvious. It's like, I know. I've had people say when I've taken a certain job, you know this involves that. I know. I applied for the job. I know it involves that. What are you saying? Sometimes people try to plant seeds to get you doubting. Or just like, what are you smiling about? This isn't anything to smile about. I've been doing this job for X amount of years. This is serious. You shouldn't have like this type of attitude. I want to see you stressing. That's not what they said, but it's almost like the way that they come across. And I had to let this person know, yeah, I know it has X, Y, Z, and this, that, and the other to deal with, but this is the way that I intend on tackling this. It was my choice. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to set up boundaries. I'm going to have my headspace right up off in it. I hear you, but I don't hear you. I had to shut it down. That person that I'm talking about, that was the last conversation that we had on that. Because, I don't know what type of response or what they really thought that they were going to get from me in that moment, besides saying, oh, wow, really? Is this really, that stressful? I should be, what should I do? And just have a sense of worry? What type of attitude is that to bring into a workplace? What did you hope to achieve? Don't get me wrong. I've had where, I'll give you another example before I close out this video. There was another job that I had where you had clients, and sometimes you may have to give one client of yours over to another coworker. And you would need to let them know up on the case or whatever it may be that was going on, or whatever situation it may be. It was funny, when I was getting clients, everything was just, they were overly praising the situation, which it almost felt like, being oversold on something. I'm like, okay, that's fine and good. Thank you for doing that. But what's the realities of what I'm about to tackle here? And 9 times out of 10, actually, I'm going to say 10 times out of 10, when I had gotten that case, it was a lot of underlying issues, which would be because it was the reason why we had cases in the position that I was performing this work duty in. And I'm just like, what you stated was actually not helpful at all. It was just like you oversold me on it. I would have needed to have known that this is something that is capable of going down in this situation, so I could be more properly equipped to handle it. So when I, would pass along a client, I'm like, hey, these are some of the positive things up with, what's going on with the situation or the case. This is what's going down. And here's some of the other things that may pop up. And this is how I'd handle them. So a person has a realistic view upon things. You could also liken that to constructive criticism. I'm just trying to give you some examples of how when things are working and a headspace that when people are in when they're in a constructive headspace and they're really trying to assist you with something, these are some examples of what these situations should look like when they're being presented to you. We explore a lot of examples on things that are unhealthy, but for some people, they don't know how to recognize when they get healthy, and they overlook some of the healthy things that are in their life, and they state, hey, look, I never had, I never knew, I never received. So to answer the question for the topic of this video, can an unhealthy person deal with Ayin? You're not going to have to worry about it. You're not going to have a chance because I got my feelers out there. I'm looking at the situation all the way up and around. Everybody's going to get a fair shot, but I'm not going to allow that stuff in my circle. And if I sniff it out, you got to move on. That's the point of this video. If you hadn't already, hit that subscribe button. Follow me on other social media, Facebook, Tumblr, Twitter, Instagram. Obviously, I'm on YouTube. Check out the link in the description box for Kilimanjaro's The Arithmetic of Family Communication. Book can be purchased on Amazon, paperback, ebook copy. It's also a part of the Kindle Unlimited program. In the meantime, stay encouraged, avoid being discouraged. I'm Ayin. You have a good one.